Hey guys, Kyle Cordiana here. This is going to be my recap for the 2019 FLW Tour on the Kissimmee chain, which includes 6 lakes: Lake Toho, Lake Kissimmee, Lake Cypress, Lake Hatchinaw, and there's one other one I'm forgetting. Lake Tiger, I think it's another one. There's Lake Tiger, and then there's like a Lake Rosalie, which came into play on the final day. Anyhow, this event was a really good practice for me. I had my wife Miranda with me, and if you've watched the videos, we caught them pretty good on the first day of practice. And stereotypical for me, if I have a good practice, I joke with my wife, and I was like, well, I'm well on a way to a bad tournament, because for me, good practices typically have kind of led me astray. I go back, I try to recreate those bites in the same areas, and it ends up not working out as well for me as if I have a kind of a semi-bad practice and I just got a hint of what's going on, and I just fish a little more open-minded. But that's how this event was. I had a great practice. Day 1 and 2 were phenomenal, and day 3, I just ruled out water on day 3, trying to find fish on beds. So I had high hopes. I thought I had a lot of fish found, and I know I did, but I couldn't get them to recreate the bites very well. On day 1, we locked down. We went on down to Kissimmee. A lot of boats down there. I scrounged up 12 pounds, 10 ounces, just my key area. I fished it for 3 or 4 hours, and in practice it was every cast. I was only able to catch 3 fish in that area in that time, and I thought I'd have a limit in 10 or 20 minutes. So on day 1, I did majority of my damage throwing a worm. I had got bites several different ways in the practice, but the most effective way to get bites was throwing a worm, and I had 2 different worms, right? So there's a lot of submerged hydrilla on the Kissimmee chain, and there's a lot of different ways you can attack that submerged hydrilla. A few ways that worked really well in this event were swimming a speed worm through it were one option. Chatterbait worked really well for others, and a rattle trap was another good option that really came into play for a lot of guys. I had the most confidence and most success working a worm through that. And then you had the lily pad stems, right? That was the other thing that came into play, and it's not a secret. Bass love to spawn on those isolated lily pad stems, and so for that, I also threw a worm. So I'm gonna show you guys what I threw. So the speed worm, I threw this on a 7'6" medium heavy Z-bone by Kistler. I had a 5/0, it's called a finesse style hook, has a little hook keeper on there. I think it's made by Eagle Claw. And I was throwing a little 5/16 weight on top of it, not pegged. And I had both a June bug colored worm and a red bug colored worm. June bug's real popular down there, something black, something dark, but I also liked having a different color option for them, and I caught a few fish because I switched colors. Made several casts with the June bug, didn't catch it, and then I picked up this red bug, caught it on that. I was throwing that with a 7-to-1 gear ratio Ardent Apex Elite with 17-pound fluorocarbon. And then when I got to isolated lily pad stems, I wanted to flip in there. Again, you want a really slow rate of fall in Florida. It's really shallow. You don't want to hit the bottom really hard, because if it's not hard, you'll kick up a bunch of silt and dirt, and when it's only that deep and you do that, you kind of mess the area up. So you want a really light weight when you're fishing Florida. So again, you want a 5/16, quarter ounce, something smaller weight. And I was doing that. This is one of my favorite little finesse worms. This is by Jean LaRue. It's the tattletale worm. You guys see me throw it all the time. This is June bug color. It's real pretty. It's got that cool little tattletale on the end of it. Gives it just a real subtle movement, even when you're not moving the worm, letting it lay on the bottom. 5/16 ounce weight, again, by Shaker Tungsten and Tackle. I had this one pegged because I wanted to just keep it, I wanted to make sure it nosed down right there along the pad stems. And you just throw it in there on the pad stem, let it sink to bottom, and fish it extremely slow, just to give it a hop. What you're doing is you're pretending, or you got yourself convinced in your mind that there's a bass on a bed there, and you just want to kind of keep it in her wheelhouse. Hopefully she's a big one, and get her to eat that. So that's a really good bait for slowing down fishing pad stems. So check that out again. I was throwing that on a 7'3" Texas Carolina rigworm jig rod by Kistler. This is a KLX, another awesome rod. Ardent Apex Elite, 7-to-1, 17-pound fluorocarbon again. I think 15 to 20 would probably be the ideal range there for fluorocarbon. I don't see any reason to go lighter when you got big fish like that. Another tactic I want to show you guys that I think I didn't get to employ it very well because it didn't work for me very well, but it worked for a lot of guys. And I want to show you guys some tricks that I normally use. So this is a chatterbait, right? This one is by Bionic Fishing. It's an awesome chatterbait. You can go get custom skirt colors. You just call the guy, order, tell what you want, different color blades, different weight heads, and different color skirts. So when you guys are throwing a chatterbait in grass, I like to throw Jean LaRue Hammer Craw as a trailer. And not only do I just love this bait for a jig trailer or anything else, fishing it by itself, but it creates a diverse situation, something you can use on a chatterbait. When you're throwing a chatterbait and you have this kind of trailer as an option, right? You can rig the chatterbait like so. So the hook would be up and the craws would be like this, and so your craws would be down. And so in that point, you're kind of imitating something a little bit more crawfish style. But if you take this Gene LaRue hammer craw and you turn it upright, vertical. So here's the hook, let's see if you can see it. Here's the hook, and you rig that like that. So now these pinchers, as they swim vertical through the water column, and you actually start to imitate more of a bluegill tail, right? And so when you have fish spawning, you know there's bluegill in the area, you know how bass are defensive about their bed about bluegill. Take your Gene LaRue hammer craw, turn it vertical on your chatterbait or any other bait you're gonna tip it on, even your jig, if you like throwing a swim jig. Turn it vertical and let those paddles paddle like this, horizontal through or vertical through the water column, and you're gonna imitate a bluegill instead of a crawfish, and that might trigger that extra bite and get that bass to be really mean. So you just rig that vertically like that, reel through the water column like that. Anyway, it's a little trick I wanted to show you guys. On the way home, I totally destroyed a road hazard, if you will. Jumped up, scared me. I had my wife with me. She was sleeping, woke her up. Did almost $2,000 in damage in my trailer. I bent a hub and bent my axle. I didn't do any damage to the trailer itself, but the axle got bent. So I'll show you some pictures from that. It was not fun. We had to change tires at like 3 in the morning. And anyway, I just got my boat back today. Yesterday, and it is Friday. It's the day I'm leaving for Seminole today. As soon as I get done with this video, I'm leaving for Seminole. So thanks to Nichols Marine, huge shout out here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, for getting me back on the road, getting my trailer fixed and repaired in a timely manner so I can get back out there. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, so I haven't had my boat, haven't had a chance to get rigged. I've been trying to prepare for Seminole by using my computers, and I need to go down there and get some redemption. Again, and we got our butt kicked on the Kissimmee chain. On the first day, we were sitting right there in check range, like 70th place. And then day 2, I only had 6 pounds and 13 ounces. Just couldn't get a big bite. And big fish were getting caught around me. I couldn't catch them. And we fell all the way to 116th place out of 170 boats. So now we are sitting in 56th place for Angler of the Year. Again, they're going to probably take 40 to 45 guys total. So you need to be in the top 40 or above to make it to the Forrest Wood Cup. So that's our goal. Hope we do a lot better. The only thing I had to show you is I just got a new toy in the mail from Trey Kistler. This is the new Kistler rod, guys. This is the, let me spin it this way so you can read it. This is the new Argon, right? So again, you're gonna have the same Fuji seat, same cork handle and reel, the same comfortable feel you're gonna get with all the other Kistler models that I've showed you guys here, the KLX, the Helium, the Z-Bone. Beautiful, comfortable feel. The big difference in the Argon, right? He offers a lot of different lengths and actions. This one here is a 7'4" heavy, medium heavy with a moderate fast tip. So you're gonna get a lot of different options. And the big difference here is we're going back to conventional style guides on the Argon. So a lot of guys like the conventional style guides. All the other rods are macro size guides, conventional style guides. There's a theory behind it. Some believe you get less friction as the line goes through. You actually cast further. For whatever reason, when it's cold and icy outside, these are less to freeze up. There are some advantages to traditional size guides. So if you are a traditional size guides angler, then the Kistler Argon is just coming out. All kinds of cool links and actions. I'm so excited to get this down to Seminole and see what it feels like with fish on the end of it. But thanks guys for watching. Always post your comments. Please hit like, please hit subscribe, and let me know if there's anything else I can do for you guys. Thanks again.